Introducing the Wicky Garden.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being a part of the Wicky Garden community, and we're thankful that you have come to see this video and check out what we're doing and what we're working with. So today we're going to be talking about the Wicky Garden product, and we're going to be talking about all the different features that it has. I get a lot of questions about the Wicky Garden, so I have my Wicky Garden prototype right here. It's basically what it is. You've got a water reservoir with some rocks in it and a wick. This one's got 2 wicks. As you can see, it goes in the bottom there. Ours just goes straight up through. So that's how the Wicky Garden works. And it does that through this wick that we have here. This wick, 1/4 inch capillary wick. If you want to learn more about this wicking rope, as you can see here, there's a good article on my website to find. So that's the wick. Basically, it runs down here all the way to the bottom, and there's one in every pot. We found that one that works best, but occasionally with bigger pots, you can use more wicks. The other thing that we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about the variable height of the Wicky Garden. As you can see, these are at different heights. That's based on the amount of rock that you fill it up to on the inside. Obviously, the more rock that you have in there, the more water that you have. And so that gives you a higher water capacity to leave for longer periods of time without watering. Certainly, they can come up to fill the rock up, so it can even get higher than this if you wanted to. We found that it's easy enough for us where it is now. So the next thing that I want to talk about is our Wicky shelf. So as you can see, the Wicky shelf here has a couple wicks that are in it, and they're perfect for your basil to go with your tomato plants that you have growing, or any other herbs. It's also good for potted plants or house plants. On top of that, the Wicky shelf can be put on either side. So as you can see on our 2 different gardens, they are put on opposite sides, so it depends on where it's sitting, what's the lower side of the unit, where you want your drain to be, and then obviously the most important thing is where do you want the sun. Great for your coffee cup, great for a rest or a seat. They're sturdy, easily attach and move. However, if you've got wicks in it, you want to put it where it's going to be prior to install and leave it there. The next thing that we are going to talk about today is our valve system. I'll take one of these off right here. This is obviously the valve that comes on the bottom of these tanks. We have added this extra valve, as you can see. This is so that you can connect a hose to it, so that you can run a hose to your house, so you don't have to haul a hose from your house and back to water your plants. Now last year we didn't have this, and we just had the spout on it, which we just leave closed for the year, and we just run our garden hose on the inside of the rocks in there. And occasionally we would sprinkle some in the buckets. So that's what this is. It's great because it's versatile. You can even connect 2 of these, 2 or multiple units together, and basically totally make it modular. The next thing we're going to talk about is obviously the most basic thing, is the structure of the Wicky Garden. These things are solid, easily attaches fencing, easily attaches a trellis. art, anything you want to do onto the side of it. Or for my friends in northern Wisconsin, you can very easily attach additional fencing to keep the deer away. So we are going to try a trellis this year, and we also got a greenhouse that we're going to hose a couple of these together and put them in the greenhouse. So we're going to see how that works. Please like and subscribe to our Facebook page, to our website, so that we can give you updates as to further product videos, as well as other cool stuff that we find and other content that you can find on our website. So, I have been going around talking to seemingly everybody these days and handing out brochures. And some of the most common questions that I have are these questions right here.
How does the Wicky garden work?
How does it work? Well, I'm glad question number one is how does it work, because I have my model way over here. So this is basically how it works, right? You have the lower reservoir, which is down here, and there's wicks in rock, as you can see, just like my model, that come up, and then we usually put one wick in the bottom of these buckets, and the buckets have extra drainage holes. We found that one wick works the best, but we did use 2 wicks on occasion, and also for bigger pots.
What is the wick made of?
What is the wick made out of? Well, this wick is a 1/4 inch wick. You can buy it in different thicknesses. It's called a capillary wick. It's basically 100% cotton rope. And it wicks water through a thing that we like to call science. But another thing, another name for the term is capillary action. And basically that's where water moves up and on the sides of molecules, and then it can defy gravity. It's a property of water. It's fantastic.
Can I grow flowers?
Yes. So we encourage you to grow whatever you want. Basically, what this is just a product for growing whatever you want. It's not designed for one thing over the other. If you want to grow flowers, let's say you're a business and you don't want to water the flowers, but you want to have a garden outside, you can do this. You can put different pots in, or you can just do one giant pot that basically doesn't need to be watered very often at all.
How often does it need water?
How often does it need watering? So like our first year, our goal was to neglect the gardens as much as we could. So we didn't like let it run dry so we could give you a full maximum estimate. So we'll say that like 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, somewhere in there. But I left every week, all week long. I was gone for multiple week trips throughout the summer, and at the end of summer I was actually didn't water for a 6+ week stretch from the middle of August until I closed down the gardens in October, and there was still water in there, but we also got a lot of rain that September. We got like a 2-inch storm, so it's a tough one, but very little, very infrequent waterings.
Why doesn't it have weeds?
Why doesn't it have weeds? Well, this is one of the benefits of growing in containers, right? So when you do container gardening, you have a lot less weeds, just because if there's weed seeds that go around your container, then there's other stuff there they don't have the opportunity to sprout. And then when they grow inside the container, they're being shaded out by the plant that you planted and are taking care of. So there's very little weeds. We also use organic soil. So our first year we used bag soil. This year we're probably going to do the same, but we might add a little sand just for further aeration of the roots. That's hope I answered your question.
What kind of plants do you grow?
Oh, well, that's a great question. So we are actually, I want to be careful with this question because I'm not a master gardener. I just built the Wicky garden. Our first year we wanted to grow tomatoes because the tomatoes, a big reason is because they're the most showy when they need water. And that was a great visual indicator for how they were doing on their watering and let us kind of visually monitor the system. But we do recommend growing tomatoes. We grew peppers, definitely recommend growing those. Basically, there is a lot of information out there from some container gardeners. There is a lot of information out there from some container gardeners that would definitely have some better recommendations on what to plant. The gardens themselves, they do get pretty crowded. So there is enough space to have a really good tomato harvest, but this year we definitely are going to try and do different stages of plants. Say lettuce in front, herbs on the shelf, lettuce in front, peppers and then tomatoes in the back, or peppers and tomatoes and maybe peas and cucumbers in the back. We're going to try and do a little bit of trellising.
Where can I put the Wicky garden?
Well, one of the major benefits of the Wicky garden is you can basically put it anywhere. You can even put it under a downspout, basically because it is a rain barrel that grows a garden out of it. The one caveat to that is wherever you decide to put it, whether that be a lawn, a parking lot, a patio, we probably don't recommend that you put it on your deck, and just because of the weight. And once it is set up and there, it's not very fun to move at that point without equipment.
How much does the Wicky garden cost?
Well, so another great benefit of the Wicky garden is that it's a modular unit. So our costs are based on kind of how you want your Wicky garden set up. We basically have two models. Our first model comes plain. The base price is $275. It's just the kit. Comes without rock, without soil. The person sets it up themselves, but we give you the buckets, the wicks. It comes with the spout. And then furthermore, you can add on the shelf or the paint job if you want. That comes $275 standard with the valve. But that's just the kit. You can pick up the kit in Madison or Reedsburg at our locations. Our second unit is a fully set up unit. So basically you determine the 4x4 area that you want to set up the Wicky garden. We show up, set up the Wicky garden with the drain according to the slope and how that goes. We fill it with rock, we put the wicks in it, we put pots, we put soil in the pots, and then when we leave, basically the person just has 9 plants that they get to decide how to plant. We do allow people to use their own pots. Their own pots have to have a hole in them, and we don't want to set up someone else's pots. Please like and subscribe to our Facebook page, to our website, so that we can give you updates as to further product videos, as well as other cool stuff that we find and other content that you can find on our website.
Thanks for watching.